Very good afternoon to everybody. This is Clayton David from DPS School. I would like to request all the parents of DPS School to watch the WhatsApp group of DPS School and to see the Britannica English books from nursery to class 8. All the English books, that is English grammar, English literature from nursery to class 8, the books will be given to you on the app or on the WhatsApp group of DPS. So parents are all requested to open the WhatsApp group of DPS, and just see all the work is given there. Fill in the blanks, question answers, homework, as well as the classwork, meanings, true and false. Each and everything is given in the DPS WhatsApp group app. So parents are requested, those parents who have not brought or who have not yet bought their books, please look into this group of the WhatsApp of DPS and let your children start doing their homework. Right? Today I will be teaching class 8. As you can see this book, Grammar Steps. I will be teaching the last part of chapter 1, as I had finished adverb clauses. Today I will be giving you the details of the adjective clauses. So I would like to show you in the book. As you can see in the book, this is the book of Grammar Steps as per the latest ICSE curriculum, right? And we had been to the adverb clauses. I had explained you about the adverb clauses. There are different types of adverb clauses like manner, place, time, reason, condition and concession. Today I am going to teach you adjective clauses. Now what is adjective clauses? As you can see, adjective clauses are introduced by relative pronouns such as who, which, whom, whose and that, and relative adverbs such as when, where and why. This is why they are also called relative clauses. If you look at the sentences below, for example, we know the joke that you want to tell. So, what joke? We know the joke that you want to tell. So, that is what? That is the adjective clauses, which is introduced by relative pronouns, right? Like who, which, whom, whose, and not forgetting that. So, this is the relative clauses. Then we see this is the house that caught fire last year. Does she know the time when the film ends? I know the reason why you didn't like the book. She has a cousin who studies at a university in New Delhi. So these, where you can see that, why, when, who, whose, these are what type of clauses? These are known as the adjective clauses, which is introduced by the relative pronouns. Now we will see the types of relative clauses. Just see the types of relative clauses. Now, how many types of relative clauses are there? There are two types of relative clauses. As you can see, there is defining relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses. Now let us see what is defining relative clauses. Why do we say defining? Because it defines that what you are searching. It defines that this is the relative clause. Now are these the keys that you were searching for? So it is defining that are these the keys that you were searching for? They are the students who were in the play we watched last Friday. So which students? They are the students who were in the play. Okay, they are the students who were in the play we watched last Friday. So when you see this first sentence, which is highlighted, the relative clause qualifies the keys being referred to. Similarly, the second sentence would also have a different meaning without the highlighted relative clause. Therefore, these relative clauses are defining relative clauses. Then we come to page number 6. If you have bought the books, okay, all the children of class 8, if you have bought the books, just see page number 6. We see non-defining relative clauses. Now, what is non-defining relative clauses? The relative clause, okay, which gives us additional information. Like for example, if you see this sentence, my grandfather who is 87 years old is traveling to London. So the relative clause is when it is who is 87 years old. What it does, it gives us the additional information about whom? About grandfather. So this type of relative clause is not essential to complete the meaning of the sentence, and therefore it is called a non-defining relative clause. I repeat again, a non-defining relative clause, it gives us additional information about the nouns in sentences, and they are not important to complete the meanings of the sentences. So now we had seen about non-defining relative clauses. Now we see the conditional if clauses. Now what is this if? Okay. Now this conditional clauses, there are 3 types of conditional clauses. Like for example, there is the first conditional clause, second conditional, and the third conditional. Now let us see, if you don't practice maths, you will not be good at it. If I had any more biscuits, I would have fed the dog. Now these sentences that talk about the possible future situation depending upon certain conditions, they are called the conditional clauses. A conditional clause is always includes an if clause. So how will you understand that this is a conditional clause? A conditional clause will always have if. Like for example, that the conditional clause, okay, there is a zero conditional clause, okay, zero conditional clause, okay. Like for example, I would like to say that there are 4 types of the conditional clause. One is a zero conditional clause, second is a first conditional, second condition, and the third conditional clause. Zero conditional clause means what exactly? Like for example, if you heat ice, it melts. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. So there is what if. Okay, if you do this, you will get this, right? So we use this conditional when we mention the general truths, habits, or things. Like for example, if you heat ice, it will melt. So it is a truth that if you are going to heat the ice, what will happen? The ice will melt. It will become into water. So that's the truth. So when there is a truth, that is the zero conditional clause. Then we come to the first conditional clause. We use this with the sentences denoting things that might happen in the future, or the things that are likely to come true. Like for example, if I see her this evening, I will ask her to call you. So what is the meaning of the first conditional clause? We use this sentence denoting that might happen in the future. So if I see her, I will ask her to call you. So also, she will cook my favorite dish if I go to her place for lunch. Is that clear? Then we come to the second conditional clause. When we talk about things that are impossible or not likely to happen, we use second conditional in such sentences. So impossible things, like for example, if you were punctual, you would be appreciated even more. So if you were punctual, then you would have got a name, but you are not punctual. So we talk about things which are not possible, which are impossible. Okay. So impossible things are known as the second conditional clause. Is that clear? Then we come to the last of the conditional clause, which is of the chapter 1, phrases and clauses. This is used to talk about the past situation that did not happen and the imaginary results. So we are talking about the past situation. Like for example, if she hadn't drunk enough water, she wouldn't have fainted for sure. So if she hadn't drunk in the past, okay, if she did not drink, okay, if she hadn't drunk, then what happened? She would not have fainted. You would have forgotten about the bag if I hadn't reminded you. So this is all in the past. So with this, I complete this chapter 1 of class 8, phrases and clauses, okay, and I request all the parents, those parents who have already bought the book, okay, this book, okay, grammar steps, okay, of DPS, please go through it. Whatever exercises are there in chapter 1, please do the exercises in your notebooks, and as the school reopens, we will meet, and then I will check everything. Bye for now. Stay safe and God bless you all. Thank you.